Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
You're going to learn today.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Micca, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. So I want to come on today and talk about Donald Trump's address to not only Congress, but to the nation. And when he addressed Congress, I tell you, it was nothing short of hilarious because the Democrats, they had a protest, or what they call a protest, all the way through. They did not stand for any highlighted moments like the 13-year-old with cancer or Laken Riley's family that was there. They also didn't clap for any of the success that the Trump administration has had so far. The Black Caucus came in protest with shirts with things written on the back like he's not a king. They also came with ping pong paddles with words on it like must steals and false. But surely one of the highlights of the night was Al Green. Yes, Congressman Al Green being kicked out because he wouldn't be quiet. Watch.
Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
So you're standing there, you're yelling at the president. What were you saying to him?
I was telling him that he does not have a mandate to cut Medicaid.
And the speaker told you to sit down, and you refused to sit down, and that's why they kicked you out.
That is correct. And by the way, if there's a punishment, I will accept a punishment. This is not about me. This is about the people who are going to suffer if Medicaid is cut and if Social Security is cut. We need to raise the cap on Social Security. We need to protect Medicare, and for God's sake, don't cut Medicaid. This is for poor people.
Republicans have said that they don't have any exact plans to cut Medicaid right now. It's not spelled out in their budget blueprint.
Well, it doesn't have to be spelled out if the budget blueprint requires them to make the cuts that they have said they're going to make. They'll have to cut it. They'll have to cut it.
So you saw the congressman admit that nobody said that they were cutting Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. Like, he's just making it up like most Democrats do all the time. I keep telling you, these people are Trump deranged, bald-headed reasoning. He's almost there. They keep going on, and then they trigger themselves. Now, continuing with this trigger talk, you had the Democratic Women's Caucus who was out there earlier chanting and protesting and marching or whatever they do. They decided that they were going to wear pink in solidarity of protest against Donald Trump. When I tell you, it's just sad. Watch.
Pink, the new white. Lawmakers love to make a statement with their fashion. Democratic women showed up to President Trump's joint address in what they're calling a color of protest. In years past at these speeches, we've seen Democrats show up in suffragette white as a sign of support for women's rights. After the federal overturning of abortion, Democrats wore white to call attention to health care for women. This year, they're shaking things up. Democratic women were urged via email to wear pink because they are, quote, powerful, passionate, and pissed off. Pink is definitely not the only symbolic color you saw in the chamber. Members of the Congressional Black Caucus, for example, wore black. Some members who wanted to express their support for Ukraine wore blue and yellow, the colors of the Ukrainian flag, especially relevant after that Oval Office blow-up between Zelensky and Trump.
So you guys just seen all of that. Those Democratic women said they're standing in solidarity with women's rights and abortion and all this other stuff. But these are the same Democratic women that just voted nay. And I do mean all of them, the whole entire Democratic Party, but preferably these women, they voted nay to allowing girls to keep girls' sports just for girls. They allowed transgenders to be in girls' sports. You cannot make it up. But they're for women's rights.
Every Democrat in the Senate voting against a Republican bill Monday designed to ban transgender athletes from competing in women's and girls' sports at federally funded schools.
Too often in this debate, it gets lost that we're talking about real people.
All Republican senators voted in favor of the bill, but they still needed some Democratic support to pass.
Imagine being the parent of a trans kid and telling your child they are not even allowed to play on the same sports team as their friends.
I think what it tells you is the Democrats haven't gotten the message from the last election. I mean, this is a no-brainer. It is intuitively obvious to the American people that biological boys shouldn't be playing girls' sports.
And the Democrat gentleman just said, oh, imagine telling your child who's transgender that they can't play on the team with their friends. No, they can't. They just can't do it. Like, why is this a problem? Like, you can't play. Like, you're a boy. Like, you could act like a girl, but you're a boy. You can't play. That's not disrespectful to trans kids. You are biologically stronger. Deal with it. So now that I've shown you that, all that pink that you see right there, those are those same Democrats, those same women. And Donald Trump addressed it head on here at his address about transgenders being in girls' sports. And he even brought someone that was affected severely by it. Here we go.
3 years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team or they will lose all federal funding.
Like, what's wrong with Democrats? And this is a child, okay? And she is partially paralyzed because you guys allowed a biological boy to be on a girl's team. He spiked the ball, hit her in the head. And I mean, this is just awful. Your life ruined by something that didn't have to happen. Like, what is wrong with Democrats? And they still sat there stone-faced. You cannot make this stuff up. I don't know why people want to vote for these Democrats, but they do. Now, speaking of wanting to vote for Democrats, Trump decided while all of them were there right in the front, he was going to address all of them head on, including Miss Pocahontas, AKA Elizabeth Warren. Watch.
This is my fifth such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way. So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
And look at them. They got that old witch Nancy Pelosi up here. When I tell you that the Democrats aren't interested in making America great again, they weren't interested in none of the people that Donald Trump brought. They just were interested in raising those bingo paddles, right? They just kept raising them up. Like, all you wanted to say was B5, because why do you have that thing? Like, that is not a protest. I'd rather get kicked out of Congress like Al Green than sit there with pink color on when I don't really like women, and then raise a paddle, a bingo paddle at that. Now, we all know the media is definitely Trump deranged, okay? And we all know that most of them have all of this smoke for Donald Trump that they don't have for their own party, that they don't have for Barack Obama, that they don't have for Joe Biden, that they definitely didn't have for Kamala, all right? None of this stuff they have for anyone else other than Donald Trump. However, I did like that Scott and even a little bit of Ashley over here, they did call the Democrats out for sitting on their hands. And, you know, Scott just always gives a good analysis because he rips them to shreds. He gets paid the big bucks to do that.
This was a horrific night for the opposition party, regardless of how well she just spoke. It started out with Al Green getting thrown off the House floor because he couldn't keep his emotions under control. Then they had the ridiculous paddles, which now social media is roasting.
That you said false on one side and
ridiculous.
Elon on
and
the
then
other.
finally, and maybe most terribly, the Democrats who couldn't find it in their heart to stand for objectively good things, including the 95-year-old mother and Mark Fogel and Mark, who got rescued from a Russian prison, and they couldn't even stand up for that. I thought Democrats came into this speech lost and defeated by Donald Trump. And today it looks to me like they're even more lost and even more defeated than when this speech started.
The Democrats are defeated, okay, calling themselves the opposition party. Opposition to what? Your own cause? And what is the cause? They don't know. You ask Hakeem Jeffries, you know, AKA Hakeem Obama, he don't know either. So at the end of the day, what are they resisting? What are they resisting? They don't know. But I was glad to see, you know, CNN call it out for once. Now, in other Trump deranged media, you know I couldn't go without putting the person that put our bald-headed reasoning Joy Reid out of business. Bald-headed reasoning Simone Saunders had a lot to say about the Democrats and them bingo paddles, okay? Because it was just ridiculous. Like, we all can see what we see. And I'm glad the mainstream media is actually being honest about those bingo paddles because it just didn't make any sense. And it was actually just stupid. Watch.
Can we talk about it? The bingo signs were killing me. I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership. I talked to a lot of members during they was texting. The staff were on my phones and they were calling. And I think the best way to describe it is the Democratic leadership said they didn't want disruptions and they wanted people to attend and bring a guest, that they wanted, you know, little business as usual, and we're fighting back in other ways. There is a palpable disgust, as Claire said, from not just the members, but their constituents. And it's like a pot, as someone described it to me, that's boiling, and it's about to bubble over. If you do not allow the members a space to release valve, it's going to bubble over. And this was the visuals are not taking back the House in 2026. Not these visuals.
The difference between Republican control and Democratic acquiescence, it's in how two things happened in that chamber and how they were handled. When Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert stood up and showed their behinds on the House floor, all right, when they just act a fool, Democrats didn't threaten them. Democrats didn't tell them to sit your behind down and shut up, right? Order in the House, because the Republicans weren't coming to play. They weren't going to give the Democrats the quarter. They knew what they were going to do. They knew they were going to try to be disruptive in some form. And their goal was to shut it down in one of two ways. And both of them worked.
Even people with bullheaded reasoning, you know, like Michael Steele and Simone Saunders, they could still see that this was stupid. Their strategy was dumb, and they knew what was going to happen. Okay, Al Green stood up. He got kicked out. He knows the rules of the House. You stand up and do all of that, you can get kicked out. All right. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has done it. Okay. Republicans and Democrats do this, but the rules are the rules. But if they don't throw you out, that's on them. And the Democrats are just weak, soft, all of that. The Republicans didn't come to play, and they said, you will allow our president to speak, your president to speak, and you will be removed. Thank you. Now, another moment that had people going was the fact that some Democrats walked out, but the Black Caucus decided that they were going to wear all black, and some even wrote things on the back of their shirts. Well, this congressman decided that he was going to protest with that lame shirt, and he got thrown out as well. Watch this.
Let's turn now to one of those Democrats who walked out, Democratic Congressman Maxwell Frost of Florida, who joins us here in studio. You walked out of the speech. You're wearing a T-shirt that said, "No kings live here." Obviously, you're not referring to John King, who does indeed live here.
Yeah, he does live.
What statement did Democrats want to make tonight, and do you feel like your party succeeded?
Well, the statement I wanted to make, and a lot of us that walked out, is that this isn't a normal dress, and these first 40-some days of this presidency, it's not normal. And I think we want people, especially Democrats, to understand that we get that. And I do think we communicated that in the walkout and in a lot of the different actions.
What do you make of Al Green, Congressman Al Green? He's been in Congress. I think he's 77. He's been in Congress for 20 years. A Democrat from the Dallas, Texas area, who stood up and waved his cane and had to be actually taken out.
Yeah.
It really was. There have been a lot of disruptions in the past, primarily by Republicans against Democratic presidents.
Yeah.
Nothing like this. This was the biggest disruption of the modern age. What did you mean?
I think it was a microcosm of how a lot of people in the nation are feeling. I mean, number one, Representative Al Green is someone who he's been around. The things he's seen in this country, where we've gone, I can't even imagine. And I'm sure he's reliving a lot of things that he lived before when he was fighting for rights that he feels like and he knows that are at risk right now. And so I think he vocalized what a lot of Americans are feeling.
When I tell you the Democratic Party has no masculine men on that side, they have no masculine men on that side. They're all just, oh my God, I have to protest. It's so mild-mannered and so, like, there's no masculinity over there. Like, what's happening? Like, I digress. Now, on to Ratchet Crockett. Now, the video I made yesterday talked about the newcomer that's challenging Ratchet Crockett in her seat, okay? And how he called her basically a social media influencer, that she really doesn't have any policies. She doesn't vote for anything. She doesn't sponsor any bills. Like, this is all she does is boister on social media. And right before Donald Trump's address, this was no different. She's dancing to Kendrick Lamar, all right? She's dancing to They're Not Like Us from the Super Bowl, that version. But at the end of the day, like, this is what our tax dollars are going to, for her to do all of this. And just like my man Sheldon Daniel said, like, her $200 nails, her $400 wig, her $900 lashes that, you know, she just keeps fluttering in our faces. This is what we're paying for, her to dance in Congress, just dancing. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Y'all keep voting for this. Please vote that woman out. I keep telling you, this woman is ratchet. And it got even more ratchet from there. This is what Ratchet Crockett posted after her and her gang got up and left.
He's hearing all kinds of nonsense and bullshit. Let me just be real. And we wasn't gonna sit for that shit. We wouldn't. You know, we showed up. And if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense. So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do, for sure. We got some cool shirts. We got Madam Williams.
All that non-coof, all that ratchetness. Y'all really voted this woman in. Look at her. I don't know if her eyeballs are open or not, because you can't see them. You can't see them. The lashes is doing too much. Like, they're doing too much. You guys voted in the most ratchet person in Congress. This woman doesn't know what she's ever talking about, okay? She doesn't know foreign policy, because if she did, she would know that Bill Clinton has a very good relationship with Putin. All she talks about is Trump is piling around with Putin. Trump is piling around with Putin. Girl, go sit down. When I tell you that Ratchet Crockett just kept going and going and going, she kept going, and she posted these things as if they were good.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the fuck up, because I'm ready to get on with it.
What is she talking about? She's cursing all over the place. I just showed you the video before this where she's talking about Donald Trump. She's cursing in that. This is your representation. Texas, this is your representation. Black women, this is your representation, okay? I can see her lashes from here, all right? All I see is a wig and a lash. Like, that's all I see. That's your representation. Nothing of standards, nothing of substance, just loudmouth, bald-headed reasoning, all right? Yes, I'm going to put her in the bald-headed reasoning category, whether she's bald-headed or not, because at the end of the day, she has the same reasoning, and she's Trump deranged. And frankly, for the last time, the woman is stupid. Now, after all that Trump derangement and ratchetness from Jasmine Crockett and the gang, the Democrats, and all of their just nonsense, all right, I want to get into what I thought was such a great moment. When I tell you it was very heart-filling, it was very heart-filling. I want to get into the 13-year-old boy named DJ, all right? I thought this was very nice of Donald Trump to do this for him. Watch.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Hey. And he has a father, a black father. Look at that. Look at the Republicans standing up and cheering.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
That's what's up. Look at them Democrats still sitting down. This goes to show you that the Democrats do not care about children. We know they don't care about children. They left the borders open, and we all know all those children that came through, trafficked, into child slavery and child labor, those children. However, they could have stood up for this young man. They could have stood up for this moment. This was a nice moment. And as a woman, I felt it in my heart. So I don't understand how all those supposed women, because they don't know if they're women or not, all those supposed women sitting there in pink in protest of Donald Trump, in protest of women's rights, how is it in the world you couldn't find it in your heart to at least clap and stand for this? Just demonic. All right, so you guys saw all of that. So here are my thoughts. Let's pour it up. The Democratic Party is just stupid at this point. They have no goals. They have no strategy. They have no standards. Anything goes. Everybody they throw at the wall. They don't know what they're doing. They have no policies, nothing that actually benefits the people, nothing that actually benefits the party. They are lost. Some of them are wearing black. Some of them are wearing pink. Some have little ribbons on them. Some don't. Some wear blue and yellow. Some are just doing whatever. Like some are standing up. Some are doing where is the cohesiveness? When I tell you that the Democratic Party is in a disarray, it's in a disarray. I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't care because, frankly, I don't vote for them. The nonsense with Ratchet Crockett is just hilarious because at the end of the day, they're trying to push this woman as if she's presidential, like her counterpart, Kamala, all right? They tried to push, and she couldn't get 2 sentences out, Greens and her house. Yeah, that's the same thing that Jasmine Crockett does. They're not talking about anything, nothing of substance, nothing that actually benefits the American people. She keeps talking about palling around with Putin. She obviously doesn't know political history because she would know that Bill Clinton said that Putin was indeed a very good man. But of course she doesn't know that because she's too busy on social media, dancing, doing all that stuff that we don't pay her to do. Donald Trump's speech was spot on, but it's a shame that a lot of it got overshadowed by, the Trump deranged left. The bald-headed reasoning in the Democratic Black Caucus, the bald-headed reasoning in the Women's Caucus, and just frankly, a bunch of stupid people that we, the American people, and our tax dollars are paying for. We got to do better. We got to be smarter because these people have to go. And again, please, in 2 years, not only vote Ratchet Crockett out, but vote the rest of those Democrats out. They're not doing nothing. They're driving you insane. They're telling you that this is going to happen. This is going to happen when it's not. They're telling you that you're going to lose Medicare. They're telling you that you're going to lose Social Security when you're not. They are just Trump deranged. Stop letting them make you insane. You guys get down in the comments, like, comment, and subscribe because I could be wrong. So let me know what you think about Donald Trump's address to the nation and to Congress. Let me know what you thought about all the antics, the bingo ping pong signs and the shirts and the walkouts and the interruptions. Let me know what you thought about that nonsense. And let me know what you thought about the young lady who was affected by the transgender athlete. And let me know what you thought about DJ, all right? The young man who had brain cancer and now is an official agent of the Secret Service. It's your girl, Micah, and I'm out.